Welcome into Spec Media. This is episode 33.1 for Buy the Dip. We're joined today by with our special co-host, Nerdbird. Our Ferdbirdthenerd. Didn't say the full name. My bad. But let's go ahead and get started and show off everyone's beautiful faces. And this is YeeZeeYee. Rich will be joining us later tonight, possibly. So he's got some important work to do to get ready for everything. So
dope, cool.
Yep. Yeah, we're just gonna try to take it away, and I'll try hosting tonight. So we'll see how that goes.
Should be fun.
Yep. All right. Have you heard any new news recently, or anything like that?
No, like I was telling you backstage. I mean, I was on cruise for like a week, and so there was like zero internet service whatsoever unless we like docked. And over the weekend, I was just kind of I was at a barbecue off in Reno, like I said, and yeah, like the only bit of news I've heard is like I know this is probably old stuff, but like I read the new Iron Fist, and my beloved Swordmaster made an appearance in it, but I've heard kind of inklings that he might show up, or there's rumors that he might show up in the new Shang-Chi. But other than that, man, it's just been kind of chill. How about yourself?
More just like drama stuff. Like I think you were in the group chat we were in where someone shared like a screenshot of like Frankie's like mailing out dollar checks for people for their settlement or whatever. Jeez. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get more coverage on like Drama Report or something like that on Beyond Wednesdays, but I mean, I don't want to deep dive too much into that. But I thought this just kind of, I mean, I get it that like since it's a class action lawsuit that, you know, they have so much they have to pay out to each person or whatever, and only so much money to do so. But it really like stings when you paid $120 for a slab, and then you end up with $2 back.
I mean, I can't imagine like the time length that you finally are like waiting like so many like years or whatever, and you get like it's just like a slap in the face, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not a legal like person whatsoever, but it just doesn't seem right, you know, like. And they're still operating. That's the thing I really don't understand. But yeah, I've never bought anything from Frankie's Comics, either from them or like secondary wise. So, and you know, when I didn't even know about them until I started hearing about like just their ridiculous business ethics.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, ever since then, I've never been like don't buy from them, but at the same time, I never even like thought about going on to any of their shows or buying any of their product anyway. So I guess I was lucky. But that sucks for everyone else.
I mean, I've bought from them before, like a long time ago. So I can't say I've never bought from them. But there was a certain point where I stopped, and then there was just like all this bad news that was coming out about them. So all right. Before we get started, we got a $1.99 sticker, I'm assuming, from Funhouse Comics. Thank you so much. It's a sub up and like, please. Ruchi is watching from afar saying, love you guys and thank you. He's in the chat, Mike. So is this a private conversation? Not really. No, not at all. All right. Let's go ahead and get started on our list. We're going to start off with the honorable mentions. This was covered on the original Hot 10 from the House of Stein. Let's see. I think these are books I came up with last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So let's see what I put on. Oh, yeah. So first book I put up was a Spawn #1, which was a CGC 9.8. This recently had a low sell of $102.50. Has a 30-day average of $134, and it is currently down 24% since September of 2023. So I kind of put this book on the list. I mean, it's like one of those books that like everyone has in their collection, but not everyone has a 98, right?
Sure.
But it stays liquid throughout the year. Like we kind of went over like how many sold over the last like 10 years in just a 98, and you can kind of see that like it's a consistent selling book, that there's like probably even since before the COVID boom, like there was probably somewhere like 500 a year that we're selling at the very least.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always think it's one of those liquid books that like when people enter back into the comic world, that's the book that's kind of on their mind, right? You have classic McFarlane art, you know, the nostalgia factor is high, and it's, you know, I feel like this is one of those books that people want.
Man, I mean, I have this book and it's signed in a 9.8, which I was really happy about. And I've actually looked at the market for it as well, just because out of curiosity. And I'll never sell it. You know, I could probably sell it for like 500 or so, but like, it's like you said, it's liquid. I feel like it also kind of goes over to like pop culture, because like kids know about Spawn because of like, I think my nephew, he has a Spawn Fortnite skin.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, and I mean, it's like, you know, it crosses over different platforms. So
well, he was in Call of Duty too for the
that's right.
Modern Warfare 3. Like that was like early in the seasons and stuff like that.
Right.
I was like kind of like I don't buy skins. Like I don't pay to win.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me either.
yeah, like it's kind of like if I get something free, like cool. If it's something that costs extra, like I'm always like hesitant about buying it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean that's a. I mean, we all know this is like printed to infinity, right? But still, I mean, it's one of those like, it's just because the supply is so high. I mean, the demand is still going to be very consistent. I think it's a great.
Yeah. Like you even see like season collectors like Jay Carter here. He says, I don't have a 98 yet. One day, probably. I mean, I always think it's like one of those books that like if you can buy in cheap enough, like, you know, $100 is probably like not a bad thing to do with $100, right? Like if you to guarantee a 98. And then especially since like we always hear news of, oh, it's, you know, oh, McFarlane's starting an own streaming service. Oh, it's back at Bloomhouse, you know, whatever it's doing. But like, you know, once we see some sort of live action, whatever, like preview, something like that, or even announcement of like confirmed announcement, and oh, this actor's going to be in it, I think it'll pop off a little bit more.
Sure. It's a great pickup though, or it's a great buy the dip for sure.
Yeah. You want some more Spawn on HBO or Gunslinger? I think they have to open up the universe of just getting Spawn back and get the ball rolling on that, and then I think they can expand out to like some of the other characters. In my opinion, I mean, McFarlane's getting older. Like it's got to happen like within the next 10 years, in my imagination.
Sure.
Yeah. So like within the next 5 to actually do something like something solid, more than just like, oh, I'm doing my own streaming service, which obviously is not going to be the solution since so many streaming services are merging, or, you know,
it's expensive. Like,
yeah,
you know, so yeah. Cross our fingers.
All right. And the other book I covered was this Silk #1, the Wu Dai Shim hip hop variant. This had a low sell in a CGC 98 of $130. It has a 40-day average of 145. So this is down 45% from its last bump. I always thought these hip hop covers were, you know, just fantastic. Like it's obviously like a lot of collectors that were outside of the comic community were starting to collect these. Which I felt like gave it a big bump. I mean, I remember when I was first selling on Whatnot that I would have random card people come in and be like, "Oh, what hip hop covers do you have?"
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they would just buy up like any hip hop cover that that spoke to them, right? That some album that like meant a lot to them. These books are always traditionally hard to get in the 98, right? Because of all the Marvel ink during that time, not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one out of all the hip hop covers?
I like the Inhumans one, the Sugar Hill Gang.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I get it's a 1 in 100, but like, yeah, that's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah. I always like. I'm a big Nas fan, so the Miles is one of my favorite. Yeah, and I'm sure that it's like easy pick, right? But my reasoning is because of the Nas. Like, I would love to get like that signed by Nas. You know?
Oh yeah,
cool. Yeah.
But
that'd be really hard to do. But anyway.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, this is a great book, though. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many great hip hop covers within this too.
Sure.
Yeah. And this is a character that I hope they like kind of explore more with, Sony or whoever. Actually, I kind of rather Sony just stop doing whatever they're doing, besides the animation stuff, right?
Yeah,
like, they're absolutely killing on that. But I guess we'll get a comparison whenever the Disney Plus show comes out.
If you do dig Silk, and I don't know if you play the game, but in the Spider-Man 2 PS5, PS4 Miles, or the Spider-Man 2 game, she makes a cameo in the video game.
Oh, okay. I haven't played that yet. I told myself I need to beat the Miles game first before I buy Spider-Man 2.
It's so good. I played it and I couldn't put it down. It's probably one of the best games I've played in the past 5 years. Honestly, it was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been stuck playing Fortnite with a group of some of the people that podcast and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've been playing for the last 2 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so once they kicked in with this Marvel stuff, like, it just, I don't know, I became an addict.
For sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. What do we have next? All right, so we're back to the splash screen with the Buy the Dip. So we're gonna go into our main list for the night. Shout out to Richie for writing this. He's getting busy with school and everything, so we thought we'd help him out. And And
shout out to Richie for letting me podcast with you again, man. It's been a while since we've podcasted together.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be able to join us like at some point tonight. So. Yeah. But I know he's busy with school and everything, but so big shout out to him. So, and then we got a lot of people in the chat. So thank you so much for everyone joining. Make sure you're checking out Ferdbird show as well. What nights are you on?
So we're every Sunday morning. We're on at 10 o'clock in the morning with the crew. I'm been doing these like Monday, Tuesday market reports every 15-minute little market reports after the Sunday sales close. And so I've been doing those like in the morning, but you can watch them at whatever. But this Thursday, kind of going off the radar there, Darth Lopez, there's my cat. Darth Lopez, he's been gracious enough to join the crew, and he's actually going to do a comic book beef kind of like playoffs or like championships. I don't know. He's basically rating the best comic book beef. We're not taking shots at anybody at all. We're just kind of
catching up everyone on the tee.
Yeah, and he's basically rating the best comic book beef in his opinion. I kind of gave him the keys to the show on Thursday, but we'll be doing that a special one shot, if you will, at 5 o'clock Pacific time on the Ferdbirdthenerd channel. So yeah, pretty exciting.
That should be interesting to watch. I definitely have been seeing his posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of information on there,
mm-hmm.
but if you read the comments and kind of see who he's talking about, you kind of get an idea of exactly what he's doing. So so I like it. I dig it.
And what Derek said, it's basically like a March Madness bracket of beef. It's gonna be really. I was like, dude, this is all you, man. I'm just there to basically run the slides or whatever, but it's all your creativity, man. So go for it. And he's happy to oblige. So it should be interesting. It's kind of not really like my shtick, but I did the guy, man. He's a good dude, and he's been a great addition to the cast. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny, like ever since I got into the content creating world, that people would have beef with each other, and then like you find that out, like I don't know how fast you found out, like once you started joining like different podcasts or started having a regular show, like I think within the first month or whatever, I found out like how deep it went, and I was just like kind of like, oh, everyone on camera seems like they're like really good friends, and you know, blah 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 and all that, and then like you see the curtains behind the curtains, and you're just like kind of like, whoa, those two people can't be together, but if they are on together, they can be at least like civil enough to like to do a show. But then you find out like they really aren't cool with each other. And,
I know.
And then like after a while, I guess like egos or whatever happens, and then or someone says something offensive because you know they know each other for so long, and then it just gets bad, right? And then the year that we're leading up to like all meet up all in Baltimore, like just to hear how many people were gonna fight in the parking lot was hilarious.
Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea about that. I think I heard a little bit actually about it, but I wasn't sure. Like,
it's never anything true. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of people like behind keyboards and like typing out like whatever messages or saying it like this and in camera like to each other, and then once they meet up in person or whatever, nothing really ever happens because no one wants that citation or whatever, or that
weird.
It's I don't get it. Maybe it's like partly jealousy, maybe it's part whatever, like I don't know, it really doesn't matter honestly. But fast forwarding, you know, I'm enjoying doing content still, so here we go.
Let's do it.
For By the Dip list. At number 5, we got the Silver Surfer number 4. So this is iconic first Silver Surfer versus Thor art cover. This is a Marvel Comics and February of 1969, and a CGC 9.0 very fine near mint. This recently had a low sell of $2,600. This has a 90-day value, fair market value of $2,620, and this is down 24% since the summer of 2023. And Richie has highlighted a buy it now sell that had a best offer sent of $2,600. Ooh, and then we got Beyond Wednesday sending some love. Thank you so much.
McClay.
Oh, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah, one of the best covers ever.
I
definitely would title this cover as iconic. I know back in the day, first meetups were always like super important, like in this period of time. You know, this is probably like easily in the top 5 Silver Surfer covers there are out there.
I mean, what's so cool about this cover is like how he uses art to show motion. That's what I thought was I've always loved about this cover. And I mean, market price wise, like that, either, you know, you can buy a 9.8 first appearance of He-Man or get this a 9.0. I'd go this route all day, you know, that kind of thing. So that's a great value. I don't know how much it'll drop. I don't know if it'll drop more. I don't watch the market for this cover enough as I should. But that's definitely, I mean, it's still, you know, not bad, but yeah, that's a bummer from 24% down from a year ago too. So.
Right. Which is kind of surprising too, since we already have like confirmation that Galactus is going to be the next kind of big bad that's in the next phase. What kind of goes hand in hand with Galactus is Silver Surfer.
Right.
But I mean, I guess with all the rumors of like which Silver Surfer we're getting, could also deter people away. I would like to. I mean, I feel like Marvel's reaching out a little bit more to the comic community and seeing, like, we're seeing more iconic scenes like this within movies, right? As evidence from the Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were so many times where it's like kind of like, oh, I remember. I mean, not only like in the search of the different Wolverines, but throughout the film, you kind of saw like iconic scenes that were like, oh, that reminds me of this comic cover.
Yeah.
Or at least that was an impression I got from the only time I've seen the movie. I probably need to watch it again to get a better assessment of that.
I mean, I'll be honest, like when I watched Deadpool and the different Wolverines, man, after the movie, I was looking at my eBay app to see how much they were going for, man. Like, I think I didn't end up buying it, but I was looking for an X-Men Alpha Gold of the,
Wow.
the one-handed, Wolverine, which is like so dumb to buy that book, like after the Deadpool thing, but it got me for sure. So, yeah, I didn't end up buying it though, but
Yeah.
like,
You put it on your watch list just to see where.
On my watch list. I definitely did. Yeah.
See, my plan, like, I sold a New Mutants 98, like probably 6 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably a little early, but enough time for me to like get some extra money, and then I kind of knew like 3 months from now, like that book's gonna drop.
Yeah.
In price. Just whenever the next Marvel release comes out, the next whatever big superhero release is out, I think that's gonna be the time for me to start shopping for it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had multiple copies too. Like, I had a newsstand, I had direct. I held on to the newsstand.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's the one to keep, I guess, right? So
yeah. Well, and they're also graded by CBCS, so it's been one of those books I've wanted to cross over. I'm not so sure now, but like eventually.
Are you gonna cross it over to PSA or CGC?
I mean, I have a PSA account, so I'm definitely gonna give them a chance at some point in time. But I don't know if I'm gonna send like major keys or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just more of looking through what I have that like Card Bros would buy.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. It's my plan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's gonna attract that audience more than it's gonna attract the comic audience.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like people that aren't into comics or like collectibles, they know about PSA more than any other grading company. And I mean, that's a very small sample size, but like, yeah, just because they grade so much stuff, so.
Right. They graded just about anything, like from ticket stubs besides, I mean, they're definitely probably well known for cards.
Sure. My love lost for for Beckett.
BGS. Yeah. I mean, I do like those subgrades. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I'll definitely go around picking up 9.5s.
Yeah.
When I see like that it has like a 9.5 on the surface and stuff like that, I just want to buy like a gallon of like Kurt's card juice and soak that card in there.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we have for our number 4 book. We have Batman Beyond, issue number 37. This is the first appearance of Batwoman Beyond in a CGC 9.8. This recently had a low sell of $70 with a 90-day average of 80. This is down 24% from 2023.
I've never like seen this in the wild before, but I think it's a great cover.
Yeah,
great character too. I'm not mad at it.
I want to say like when this book first popped off was like when it kind of released, right? It's to me, it's hard to bet on DC books. I mean, I know there's probably a big storm of brewing at this point. Like so much has happened in the last couple of years within DC that like some people have followed, but I would say the majority have not followed of what's going on. But with everything being driven by movie speculation on whether books like take spikes, I think it's really going to depend on what James Gunn does with Superman. Like that first film, like it's really going to set the tone for what happens to DC, right?
I mean, so technically there hasn't been anything that James Gunn has done for the DCU, correct?
Like it's like minor things, right? Like isn't Peacemaker and all that stuff, is that?
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah. That's right.
I feel like that was his tryout, right? Like doing the Suicide Squad, just to see like what kind of numbers he can produce with something that that's already been like tried out, but like didn't really succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's thinking back on SPEC and like with movies, right? And this will make sense in regards to Batman Beyond for what I'm about to say. I remember like reading articles about how like Kevin Feige would take like the main stars from a comic book, but the stories he would take from like 2010 or like some type of modern like timeline. So it was like old meaning like new. I think it's tough to spec on like a book like this because you would need a Batman Beyond first before a Batman Woman Beyond, I guess. However, with that said, I mean, like, I think there's still, there's still positivity around the potential for this character, like in the comic books, because like just what Austin Sauce saying, I think Batman Beyond doesn't get enough love, but I know like kids love Batman Beyond compared to any other Batman characters, at least kids that that I've like just run into and asked them, well, who's your favorite DC character? They say Batman Beyond, which I think is kind of funny. So anyway,
that's cool.
Good for that. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was like very impressive with the animation team that did Into the Spider-Verse. It had that like little preview video when they were trying to pitch Batman Beyond, and it changed from this is never going to happen to maybe it's going to happen or something like that, or like, or some sort of glimmer of hope, right?
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know if there's like much of like an agenda, like kind of like what Marvel was doing, right, with female leads and all that. Yeah. I could see that if they took it in that direction, but I definitely do agree with you that there has to be a Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond before there's Batwoman Beyond.
Right.
You can't let a cartoon book first appearance slip by anyone.
Funny.
Oh yeah, because on the comic it does say like from the animated series.
You're right.
Yeah, and then you have all those Astroworld books and all that.
Do I have them?
No. I was just thinking of like Batman Beyond, like the first issue from '99. That, like on the cover, it says from the hit Warner Brothers animated series or whatever, and then you have the Free Comic Book Day version, then the Six Flags version as well.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. So that there's like multiple versions of that first appearance, and then fast forward to 2023, there's like foil reprints and all that.
Oh gosh, bring back Chromium.
Bring back Chromium. I'm waiting for someone to bring back in the box covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love Chromium.
Yeah, I mean that's why my Marvel Collectibles Classic Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite books, which is the issue number 1. Because Collectible Classics number 1 is the 300. And then number 2 is the Spider-Man 1. So which I thought they should have done it backwards. So Spider-Man 1 is Spider-Man 1, but
right.
That's a whole nother thing. So, but that cover's embossed, like it's chromium embossed or whatever. So it has it has the ridges and bumps on it. So it's definitely hard to see if it has like spine ticks and all that. But yeah, I bought one, graded it, hit a 9.8, no press, nothing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. For our number 3 book, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a issue number 13 and in a newsstand or direct. This is the first Knuckles in comics. This is from Archie Comics of 1994. And we're talking about raw high grade copies. This recently had a low sell of $19 with a 45-day average of 55. This is down 31% since last summer.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at the census, we're seeing that there's 13 9/8s, 15 9/6s, 5 9/4s, and 10 9/2s. And 1 qualified. Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder if it's like color touch or just like writing on the cover.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I love Sonic. I had to say goodbye to my Sonic 98 this past weekend, but I'm not mad at it. I'll get it back again. I was just curious of what the market was. That's a great even for. So is that low $19 for a high grade? You said.
Yeah, so for a high grade raw copy, $19.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great price.
I haven't seen all the movies, but was Knuckles in the last one? Has he been in the films? I honestly don't watch them.
I honestly haven't seen them either. I was actually going to watch them this past weekend because I have them sealed. I don't just never watch them.
Oh, okay.
But I know a lot of kids love the movies, and they're still a very popular character, and every character in Sonic, from what I know, they're still really popular. So, yeah, like Cosmo one says, like Sonic will always have a following, but I feel like it's very hot right now. Obviously, right, the third one coming out too. So, yeah, that's a great price, man. I know there's a local LCS around me that sells this book for like 55, and it's not even in near mint. I'm about to go on eBay and get it there. Yeah, that's great, man.
I can't tell the difference from all those Sonic friends. Knuckles is the red one, and then they had that internet meme for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. Nice. I mean, that's what I mean, but that kind of nostalgia is going to speak to kids like 10, 20 years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I remember that meme. Like, I still, like, you know, with my older friends, like, we still talk about internet videos that were popular when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's just like one of those things, right?
Right.
That's ingrained from our childhood or whatever. And then, you know, they're just building up the next following at this point.
Exactly.
And then I would imagine most of these comics are like, you know, probably low print run, probably thrashed since they were given to kids. So it's probably impossible to get in high grades unless it was just like a store sitting on a bunch of copies that didn't sell.
Sure.
Let's see. Shadow is going to be in the third one. My daughter loves Sonic. Well, thank you, X Abbott. Keanu Reeves is going to be in the third movie. Is he really?
Yeah, he's the voice of Shadow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Kristen Ritter is supposed to be in it too.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
I think she's doing some sort of voicing.
Very nice.
So, yep. So be on the lookout in Kids Bin. Push over those kids to get those comics. Like that's what I do. I'm like, I'm looking here first. You're like,
I actually look for the kids, and I don't care where they're at. I just push them anyway.
Yeah, I like if I'm looking in kids section comics and they're trying to look through, elbow them in the eye. They're like right at that height.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get kicked out of my LCS now. Or who are we kidding? There's no kids in comics.
I know. I was about to say. Funny story about that. So I gave a bunch of comic books to like my nephew, and he's like, this was probably 4 years ago. He's 13 now, so I was like, can we use 9? Mm-hmm. And he was cleaning his room out, and his mom was like, get rid of all your shit that you don't want. And he came up to me with like a bag, and I was like, what's this? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just don't read these comics. I just don't like them. So he gave me back all these comics. It broke my heart, man. Like, yeah.
But see, if you gave him a brand new manga or something like that, he'd read that backwards and forward in like 20 times, right?
Yeah. I showed him my physical copy of Fortnite on PS4, and he like couldn't put it down. He was just looking at it. He's a big Fortnite kid. He's just like, he was so enthralled with my Fortnite video game. He's just
Do you have one graded now?
I did have one graded. I sold it off because it was a really bad. I knew it was a bad grade anyway, but I just wanted to see what the market would show for it. And yeah, it kind of like, it kind of did what I thought I was going to do. But I have 2 more copies left that are not graded, but they're CIB. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for that to build up for the beat to build up a little bit more on it, or what do you?
I mean, I think honestly, like I got a bunch of inquiries about the game, and people were asking me if the code was used. And what I found out was, it's pretty obvious, but I just didn't think it was that big of a deal. The code unused, like one guy offered me $300 for it, but I was like, well, wow. the code's used. I and it's graded. I can't tell you. It's
sealed.
Yes, it's sealed within the thing, right? And he didn't get the concept of a graded video game, and so we're kind of going back and forth. But he was like, well, if you can confirm that the code on the game is not used, I will give you $350 for it. I was like, I can't confirm that, man. And I'm pretty sure when I bought it, like it was used. So, but yeah.
Oh, because it's a completed box and not a sealed copy,
right?
Kind of idea.
Yeah. So, but I feel like if you get a 9.0 or higher, you're gonna get $200 for that game, just because of the fact there's only 40,000 copies of a PS4 physical copy. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
And only 39,000 codes have been used. So
exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I thought that was interesting. It's something that collectors are like looking for. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
It's the Awesome Sauce Radio says, "Be careful when pushing kids. Some of these kids can push back."
That's right. I'm small, so yeah, I understand.
See, I just threatened them and tell them I know karate. So.
Just say Cobra Kai, and they'll be like, "Oh shoot, back up."
All right, let's see what we have for our number 2 book. We have the Green Lantern number 55. This is the Maneki 1 in 25 retailer incentive, and a CGC 98. This recently had a low sell of $400. The 90-day average is $403. And this is down 32% since 2023. As you can see here, Richie highlighted the sell of $400. It was listed at $500. Tough book to get in high grade, with only 64 on the census, 12 signature series, 32 9.6s. Yeah. So I thought this was an interesting pick, especially since we had it on the almost 10 last week as well. I did see the sell as well, and I thought this was it seemed kind of low for this book. But I think it has to do with more of the collectors that have been grading and slabbing books since the mid 2000s. That this was always one of those books that was like kind of like well wanted.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is like a perfect example of what kind of Lefteros was talking about earlier. Like the longer term books are the ones that, or the longer term investment books are going to be the ones that comic collectors like love or hold in high esteem versus like the option stuff, which is can go up and crash really quickly. I've seen this book. I think I actually saw it in Reno when I was there 2021, 2022. And they wanted like $1.75 for this raw. I just thought it was a cool cover. I didn't know anything about it, but that is not bad for an older book, right? In a 98. There's only 64? I mean, that's a pretty high, census count.
It's a high census count, but like comparative to like a 1 in 25 nowadays, I think that's a pretty low number. I mean, but you could probably say that like books during this time period were actually 1 in 25s. Like you don't have the store exclusive buffer and stuff like that, which can like destroy an incentive. But I mean, yeah.
I mean, like I love the incentive ratio books from this era of comics. I think they're highly collectible, and two, like they're actually really good quality, like art. Personally, those are ones I'll hold on to or just look for at a premium or at a dip.
Right.
So, anyway, real quick, man, like shout out to Richie for these slides, man. I haven't given you guys enough shout outs, but like you guys do a really good job with the show, and like it's really like I don't know, he does a really good job with the fonts and like the data is like positioned really well. It's really good, man. So
yeah. I'm proud of him. Like when I met him on Flipside, like he I hate to say it, but like he didn't really know how to do any of it. And then like I just like kind of showed him a few tricks here and there. Bryan showed him a few tricks in there, and then he picked out like what works out best for him. So I'm really proud of what he's done like with this channel, right? That starting from scratch and like built up the following, kept at
fast.
Kept up with what he knew, and just built it up. So so I'm happy for him. So, and I'm happy to be a part of his career and doing shows with him. So yeah,
shout out to you guys for sure, man.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, this is especially with the wasn't there a rumor last year too about who was it to play Lobos?
Jason Momoa.
There was a big rumor leaning on that, but I mean, like, I guess with everything up in the air for DC of what's going to happen and expand on characters, I feel like that could probably end up being on the back burner.
Sure.
At some point in time, and then bring in Lobos like once they have established a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wouldn't surprise me if they did cast Momoa again, just because the reception of that was very well. And then like, for DC to keep an actor and stuff like that, I think they would need to have something similar to that. Similar to what Marvel did recently with like announcing Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, like to recast for DC to recast a big actor that they already have under their belt into the Gunn universe as a villain, wouldn't hurt them.
Oh yeah, I think the fan reception would be all for it. Yeah, I think it makes sense. They should have done that originally, but whatever.
All right, and it looks like chat answered Blind Adam's question. Sorry about that, Adam. I didn't say which year this was from. Is it from 2005?
He said 2010. He corrected himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to our number one book of the week. And we have Batman 656. This is the first full appearance of Damian Wayne from August of 2006. This had in a CGC 98. This had a low sell recently of $120. That has a 90-day average of 132. This is down 42% from August to September of 2023.
Awesome. It's funny, like, so 655 through 57, I want to say, like, were pretty hot for, once the announcements came out. But this was actually, out of those three books, this was my favorite cover of the three. And I felt like the best bang for your buck, if you're a collector or reader of books. And that's a low of 120, man. I mean, that's pretty insane. But I get it. Just because, like, we don't know when Damien's going to show up. So there's a little bit, I think there's some time that you probably, if, to bump this up, right, you have to have a casting announcement or, trailer. And it's, I don't even know how close they are to getting Damien into the DCU. But if you're buying this because of speculation, you're going to have to be waiting for quite some time. But if you like it because you love it, I think 120 is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Ooh, Doc Joe is saying 655 is the book. And then if you want a free copy of this, make sure to hit up King of the Golden State and tell him that SPEC Media sent you, saying that he says you can get these books free these days. So tell him to prove it, or
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I had to bust his balls on that one. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Doc Joe in the house, man. Love that.
Yeah. Let's see. Damian Wayne, I thought he's always been an interesting character, especially in like the different animated series and stuff like that. His character was always likable. Yeah, so I don't have much to say. I mean, I grew up on Batman and all that, but I never, got deep into all the modern runs. I've read some stuff here and there, but not as much as when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I think it's funny. The first comic book I ever like bought and read over and over again was the first appearance of oh my gosh, I can't remember. Not Tim Drake, or was it Tim Drake? No, it was first Doc Ock, I want to say. Can't remember. Oh my god, total brain fart. Okay, never mind. But anyway, yeah, as far as Batman's concerned, he was probably the first book I read when I was a kid, but kind of fell out of just wanting to read him until recently. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I didn't really get into Damian until the DCU stuff came about. I always knew about the book, but I just never like seeked it out or whatever. But yeah, I get it. It's if you're not a huge Batman fan, during 2006, you probably weren't reading Damian, but now he's pretty cool. I liked him in the Teen Titans run in the late 2010s, 2019, 2020 run. He was pretty cool in that series for sure. But anyway, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool price, though. A pretty cool book for sure. And yes, 655, I guess, is the book according to Doc Joe.
All right, let's see what I think. This is our last slide. Yep. Cool. I know you just got back from vacation and stuff like that.
Sure did.
So you probably don't have much of pickups. I'm still getting in stuff from San Diego that I ordered.
That's
like
nice.
yeah, either that I ordered like online and whatever, or stuff that's being shipped back to me from Bryan. This was something I ordered before the show, but then instead of picking it up at the con, I had them mail it to me because I was like kind of like, oh, I'm not going to carry around a poster this entire time. But
Yeah.
I ended up picking up this print. I don't know if you can see the full image.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Who drew it?
I don't know who the artist is. By when Bryan and we were going through the different shows, I noticed it. It has, I think their name is Jace, Jace, and then but there's a signature on the corner here, and it says it's like 17 out of 50.
Oh, even cooler! I love it when they do that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I thought it was a really cool print, like, with Deadpool Wolverine coming out. I didn't want it like a straight up movie poster. I wanted something unique and something from the con. So I saw that print coming out, and I was like, kind of like, oh man, that's awesome. So I definitely wanted to pick it up.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So, yeah.
I was pretty jealous of all those pictures I saw of you guys at San Diego Comic-Con, but
that's the one thing I thought I didn't do enough of was take pictures.
I saw you all over the place.
Like, I felt like I didn't take enough pictures of like there was one night where I was having such a blast, like I literally didn't take any pictures at all. Like I can see like where my days stop, where it was like, okay, this is Friday night, this is Saturday during the day, and then Saturday night disappears into Sunday morning. I was like kind of like, oh, I was having that much fun Saturday night.
Sure. No, that's cool. No, it's good to see you guys all like having a good time. The only time I've ever met anybody, I met Richie in person.
I still have never met Richie in person.
Yeah, we met up in Orange County where he's from, and I actually hosted Vintage Phil at my house.
Yeah, I've met Phil before. We met in Baltimore one year. So yeah.
This is the one pickup I got actually today. So I just got back from vacation today. This is I was telling YeeZeeYee about this earlier, but I was trying to find Nemesis Prime's podcast like years ago, and I actually stumbled upon these guys' podcast. It's the Comic Cons podcast, and they talk about comics, but they don't talk about like speculation or like buy this book or this is right, this is wrong. It's just a couple of dudes that love comics and nostalgia from like we're in the same age bracket and all that stuff, and they're just hilarious. So if you need an hour and a half to kill or on a plane somewhere or like on a long drive, download one of their episodes. It's really funny. They just crack me up. So, and they are cool enough to send me this t-shirt. Total cool surprise, but yeah, they're on like any podcast platform, whatever phone you have and stuff. So, but anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I did start reading this book from Bloody Pulp Books. I had the one of the writers reach out. I think he's a writer, and it's like it's just like short stories and stuff like that, or like a pulp book. And then he sent me a copy. This is cool. Cal McDonald Detective Tales. So nice. I started reading it last week. So I'm still checking it out, still early into it. So I'm definitely gonna try to read as much as I can. But he sent me a shirt and all that. Cool. I got to play a show last Thursday. So instead of doing long story short, my band was playing a gig, and then he sent a t-shirt as well. So I wore the shirt to the show. So instead of just wearing all black like I normally would, I wore a bright green or not a bright green shirt, like an army green shirt, but it had a nice skull on it, and a skull with a typewriter built into his logo. So
very cool.
Yeah,
good stuff, man. Very good stuff. Yeah. Well, bummer Richie, I guess, couldn't make it to the end of the show, but I was happy to stand in for him and support his show and support a good friend. And one of my really good friends I never met in person. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I do want to make another trip to like Seattle at some point in time. Because I like the Pacific Northwest, so it's a lot of fun out there.
I live like 20 minutes away from like downtown, so like I told Phil, man, I got a pretty big house, free place to stay, man, and yeah.
Oh shit!
I'll show you around.
Yeah. I might have to take you up on that sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just let me know what, because I know you don't go to Emerald City Comic Con, but let me know what other cons to go to, or just a good time to visit and stuff like that. So
yeah, man, it's always raining here, so I mean, weather-wise, it's not that great. There's never a great time to visit, but the people here are pretty chilling. I think you being the rock scene, man, you might pick up a guitar at one of the bars that we go to and just help them out.
Start jamming.
Yeah. You might. Yeah, people are pretty chill about it here. So,
yeah. That's one thing I've always heard about Seattle. It was always hard to break into the music scene out there because it's just because there's tons of competition and just like the history of it, right? Like I know Washington claims Jimi Hendrix, for like that's his birth state and all that. And then you also have all the history of the 90s with grunge and everything. So, and then just the overall landscape of the city changing, like to being like, I guess going into gentrification a little bit too, right?
A little bit, yeah. There's still some pretty grungy areas, like in Capitol Hill, which is where you could go to show at like 2:00 on a Tuesday, that kind of thing. Maybe not. Maybe just on a Tuesday, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty expensive some areas, but we still got our grungy areas too, so we still keep it pretty legit. So
that's true. Yeah, because I know a lot of the musicians that lived in Houston that actually ended up moving out to Portland.
Oh yeah.
So but that area is so tight knitted that like if you're in one area, then like someone that knows someone in a different area.
For sure. Yeah, chat. Just come on over the crib. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Ferdbirdthenerd Comic-Con. So
just sub to the channel. You can come on over.
Yeah, so once he hits 1,000 subs, you can have 1,000 visitors over.
Yeah, exactly. I want all my subscribers to come by the house. My wife will love it. Yeah. So. No, this is fun, man. I always like chilling with you guys, man. It's always a good time to come through.
You'll have a better stay than like at Firefest at Ferd's,
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
yeah. I'll serve those mustard sandwiches to everybody, just like a Firefest, man. Yeah. Awesome. I love it.
All right. So I think that's gonna do it for us again. Let everyone know where we can catch you again.
Yeah. So I know you guys are, if beef's your thing or not so much. My homie Darth Lopez is doing a live show on 5:00 Pacific time on Thursday on the Ferdbirdthenerd channel. I think AOA pushed it up there. I'll be doing a giveaway too, just for fun. But we're doing like a bracket for the best comic book beef. We're not calling anybody out. We're just basically talking about our most favorite like beef in the comic book community, which is we're just trying to have fun with it and stuff. But I just did a market video today. So if you need more market content, I just posted a video today, just some stuff I've been looking at the past week or so since I got back from vacation and stuff too. So yeah,
sweet,
that's where I'm
good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. I'm throwing off because of the holiday on Monday.
Yeah.
And realizing it's Tuesday. So I will be on I'll probably be on Beyond Wednesdays tomorrow night with Bryan McClay. And then I have Long Story Short on Thursdays with Mr. Longshort and the whole crew there. So thank you so much, Adam, Blind Adam, for joining the crew.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Mercenot for running the show. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So definitely appreciate that. And yep. And then Friday night will be the original Hot 10 on the House of Stein. So I will have new books for Buy the Dip as well.
Nice.
And and then Saturdays with back to Modern Comic Mayhem. So yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Everyone have a great night. We'll catch you next time.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks.